The last thing I ever expected on a rainy Tuesday afternoon was to find royalty on my doorstep, let alone an alien queen I hadn't seen in 20 years. I was finishing a lukewarm cup of coffee, staring out the window of my modest homestead on Mars Colony Theta 7, when the perimeter alarm pinged. A rare occurrence. My home, perched on the edge of the terraformed red dune expanse, didn't exactly get visitors. I lived alone by choice. The past was something I preferred not to stir. I approached the door cautiously, the pulse rifle humming against my back, though I doubted I'd need it. As the door hissed open, I stood frozen. She was tall now, elegant in stature, with eyes the color of liquid sapphire, glowing softly beneath her royal circlet. A shimmering robe of silken obsidian clung to her angular frame, embroidered with constellations I didn't recognize. Her skin, once pale and bruised from her ordeal, now radiated with an ethereal luminescence. But I knew those eyes. Even after all these years, I would never forget them. "Zaya, breathe." She nodded, a smile touching the corners of her lips. "You remember me, Jace." "How could I forget?" I muttered, stunned. "You were just a kid when you saved my life," she finished softly. 20 years ago, during one of my early planetary surveying missions on the fringe world of Corinthia 9, I stumbled upon a wreckage site. The local government claimed it was a downed smuggler craft, but what I found in the rubble was far from ordinary. A young girl, barely 10 by my estimation, bruised, starved, and terrified, was hiding in the remnants of an escape pod. Her skin shimmered with bioluminescent patterns, clearly not human. She spoke in a strange tongue, but fear is universal, and so is kindness. I gave her water, food, and warmth. I protected her when bounty hunters came sniffing, and I fought off those who would have sold her to the black markets of Sirius B. And then one day she was gone. No note, no clue. Asfin. Now here she stood 2 decades later, cloaked in regality. "I had to disappear," she said, as if reading my thoughts. "For both our sakes. But I never forgot what you did. And now I've returned for you." We sat beneath the domed observatory of my home. Outside, crimson sands shimmered under the dusk's pale light. Zaya, Queen Zaya now apparently, sipped Martian blossom tea like it was the rarest delicacy. "I am Queen of Valantria," she explained, her voice a melody of confidence and grace. "My people are known to most humans only through myth and whispers. We possess abilities your kind have barely begun to understand: biopsychic resonance, stellar memory, genetic empathy." Blink. "Okay. That's a lot to take in." She smiled gently. "When you rescued me, I was a fugitive from a civil war. A usurper had taken my throne after murdering my parents. My escape pod was supposed to take me to safety, but it malfunctioned and crash-landed. You found me when I had no one." "I did what anyone would do," I said, though I knew it wasn't entirely true. "Most would have turned her in." "I didn't. Couldn't." "You did what no one else would," she replied, setting her cup down. "You protected a child who wasn't even your species. You gave me a second chance." She leaned forward, eyes blazing. "Now I offer you the same." I arched a brow. "What do you mean?" Zaya stood and extended her hand. "Come with me. Return to Valantria. Be my guest, my advisor. My people owe you their queen. Let me show you what you saved." Within days, I found myself aboard her personal cruiser, the Aurelian Grace, a living ship composed of crystalline architecture and biosynthetic neural threads. It pulsed with energy, responding to her moods and intentions like a trusted companion. The journey to Valantria took less than 3 days thanks to a wormhole transit system only her kind had mastered. When we emerged, I saw it, her world. Velantria orbited a binary star system, its surface a tapestry of floating cities, cascading waterfalls in midair, and forests that shimmered with silver leaves. Gravity danced here. Physics hummed to a different tune. We descended into her capital, Illystria, a city sculpted from starlight and stone. The people bowed as we passed, their eyes filled with reverence for their queen, and curiosity for me. I told them stories, she said as we walked, of the human who saved me, the outsider with more courage than kings. You're a legend to them. I chuckled nervously. I don't feel like one. You are. Over the next several weeks, I learned more than I had in decades as an explorer. Velantrians shared knowledge freely. Of the stars, of consciousness, of reality itself. They taught me to use resonant stones that let thoughts become actions, and they showed me memory gardens, vast landscapes shaped by recollections. Zaya visited often. We talked for hours about life, duty, sacrifice. She was no longer the frightened child I once knew. She was wise beyond her years, tempered by pain but never bitter. One night, under the twin moons of Velantria, she revealed the truth. I brought you here for more than gratitude, she said quietly. I looked at her. I figured. A queen doesn't fly across the galaxy just to say thanks. There's a prophecy among my people, she continued, that when the throne is threatened once more, a guardian from the stars would stand beside the queen to preserve our future. You are that guardian, Jace. Froze. You're telling me. You want me to fight in a war? I want you to lead a revolution, she said. My cousin, Lord Dravan, the one who murdered my parents and tried to kill me, has returned. He has rallied dissidents. My people fear another civil war. I exhaled slowly. I'm no general. I'm just an ex-explorer with a bad knee and a history of running from trouble. She stepped closer. You're more than that. You showed me what it means to fight for someone without expecting anything in return. I need that courage now. I stared into her eyes and saw not a queen, but the girl I had once shielded beneath a rusted hull. If she believed in me, maybe I could believe in myself again. All right, I said. Let's save your world. The months that followed were a whirlwind. I was trained in Velantrian command protocols, learned to pilot their fleet gliders, and even wielded an energy staff that responded to thought and instinct. Zaya stood beside me as we rebuilt defenses, brokered alliances with planetary tribes, and prepared for the inevitable strike. Lord Dravan came with fury and fire, his forces sweeping through the outer colonies like a plague. But we were ready. The final battle took place in the floating canyons of Lysara. Dravan's armada clashed with our phalanxes in the skies above an ocean of clouds. I led a wing of gliders in a strike against his flagship, weaving between plasma bolts and psychic shockwaves. When I faced Dravan in single combat on the crystalline bridge of his dreadnought, I expected a monster. What I found was a man hollowed by power and rage. You're just a human, he sneered. A pet the queen coddles. I'm her guardian, I replied. And your end. The duel was brutal. He was fast, but I was determined. When I disarmed him, I saw the flicker of fear in his eyes, the same fear Zaya had once known. I ended it swiftly. Peace returned to Velantria. Zaya's rule was solidified. Her people prospered. And me stayed. I found something here I never had before. Purpose. I became an ambassador, a bridge between humans and Velantrians, helping,